At FINRA, our mission is investor protection and market integrity. In this Day Inside FINRA series, we show you how FINRA employees carry out our mission. Here, we head to New York City, where we meet FINRA Principal Examiner, Laura.
Before I get to the office, I start my day here at home with my family, very early in the morning, as you can see. I invite you to spend the day with me and see what it's like to be a FINRA examiner. So let's get going. Every morning, I start my day pretty early back at home and I take the bus in. It takes me quite a while to get here. I always try to get here about 8:30 in the morning. I walk over from Zuccotti Park and come in, get a cup of coffee and start my day. Start going through some emails, see what's going on for the day, have updates with my managers on ongoing exam issues, and look through any emails and get ready for meetings that I have.
Laura is a principal examiner in FINRA's Risk Oversight and Operational Regulation Division, commonly called ROR. Among other things, ROR examiners work every day to protect investors and the markets by helping firms maintain stability and prepare for the possibility of major market events.
My favorite part about being a ROR examiner is probably getting to go on site, work with a team of 4 to 5 people or something like that, and you have a time together for a month or so, you move on and then you work with another group. So you really get to know your colleagues, and then there's that added bonus of working with those individuals at the firms. I used to work at a broker-dealer for about 12, 13 years in operations and control teams. So as a FINRA examiner, I bring that experience, and a lot of the reviews that we do touch on those points. Regulations and rules are changing. Some of them I may know from past experience, some are new to me. And things are constantly changing, so I'm learning about the industry, particular regulations and rules that are coming out as things are changing. So for me, it's a constant learning experience.
In addition to keeping up with the rules and meeting with firms, Laura takes time to reconnect with her colleagues.
This afternoon, I'll probably meet a couple of colleagues, midday, grab a bite to eat, and then I'll return back for the meetings that I will be having. You're going to meet with firms. This is their area of expertise and it's what they do every day. And part of our job is to come in and say, I think there's an issue here. Usually the response is, well, I don't agree and here is the reason. And having the confidence to kind of stand there and say, here's why I feel this, but I'm happy to discuss further. And those are challenging discussions. We go on site, we meet with individuals, we advise and give guidance, and we raise concerns where we find them. We're making sure that firms are actually doing what they should be doing with customer funds and locking them up appropriately. And we're looking at some of the practices that the firm has and making sure that there's, integrity in what they're doing, which ultimately impacts the customers. We travel to other firms in other cities and across the country. I've been to San Francisco and Kansas City and Florida and different places. So my job does require travel, sometimes for a few weeks at a time, sometimes longer, sometimes less. So we definitely, we get around.
Laura balances her time on the road with time in the office.
This afternoon, we're going to have a conference call with a particular firm that we will be going on site to examine in a couple of weeks, and we'll have various folks here at FINRA on that line, and we'll go through sort of what the firm's program is and ask some questions and start risk assessing for what we want to dig into once we're actually on site. When we're preparing for exams, we're doing a risk assessment, which really just means every firm is different, right? What are the key business areas? What do they do? How do they make money? And what are their risks? Based on that, we go in and we execute an exam. Now, we may find an issue that related to one of those risk reviews we were doing. During the risk assessment process, we're dealing with surveillance. We're talking to the coordinators who maintain the relationships with the firm, finding out what they know. And then as we're on site, we work with our interpretive group to, if there's something about a rule we're not sure about or the way the firm is actually conducting a certain portion of its business, we might want to, reach out to a subject matter expert that we have or to our interpretive group and say, can you give us some guidance? I think that staying fresh, being aware of how the rules and regulations are currently being interpreted and any changes ultimately protects investors, because as those rules have changed over the years, us staying fresh helps us go in, look at how a firm is attempting to comply with that rule and make sure that it actually makes sense and that they're doing that.
Laura uses her knowledge of the industry to help explain why it's important to protect investors.
When you're talking to someone like family or friends and trying to describe, well, how does what I do impact you, they have to realize that, as an investor, you are putting your money into a market, and we are making sure that the firms are actually in compliance and maintaining good practices and doing what they should be doing, so that the integrity is there in their business practices and in the market itself, and ultimately protecting the customer. It matters, right? When we go out and we look at the firms and what they're doing, you hear about some terrible things that can happen, and it makes me feel better that we're part of a solution, we hope, to that, or a prevention. Thanks very much for spending the day with me as a FINRA examiner. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'm going to go catch the bus.
So Laura hurries off to her long commute home so she can be there to tuck her son into bed. But she'll be back bright and early in the morning, doing her part to protect investors.